traveling through Scotland. Stopped at, I believe it's pronounced Dunnottar Castle, 15th, 16th century. Amazing to see. It was built right on the cliffs. Look at the scenery around this castle. Gorgeous. So this was the keep. The late 14th century keep, or tower house, is the oldest remaining building on the site, erected by Sir William Keith. It has a stone vaulted basement and originally had 3 further stories and a garret, a small loft above. So this was the Great Hall. Mostly party ceremonies, court business was conducted here. It says right here, the plaque used as the dining room, ceremonial hall for conducting court business. The large windows would have allowed light to stream through leaded glass panels, lighting up the plastered walls hung with portraits and rich, colorful tapestries. But I just realized as I'm looking at this that it didn't have a very tall ceiling. It seems so nice and airy and tall, but it wasn't. It only had maybe 10-foot ceilings. You can see the rafters would have fit right in there, and you can see actually these were benches where people would have sat up there. Coming into, I guess, the original kitchen. So at one time, I guess there was only one kitchen here. Oh, it became a room? Oh, okay. So again, second story, these maybe were 9 feet, not even. And then a third up there even, or at least some sort of a roof. That's wild. And look at the view. If you were sitting here, look at the view you would have. This room became the kitchen in place of the original one located upstairs during modifications in the 16th century. Its magnificent fireplace would have catered for most of the needs of those working and living in the castle until it was supplemented by the addition of a kitchen in the north range. Originally, there would have been a wooden floored loft above, and the remains of the stone supports for this are still visible. I guess that's what the second floor was on here. The beams rested on these. The other room was a store, and there's a small prison cell on the left-hand side of that room. Weird. Random that it was like right off the kitchen. And then this was storage. So every time they had to come in to get supplies, they would have to listen to the guy moaning that he was in the prison. See what this was. Oh, this was the blacksmith. The blacksmith shop. Look at that fireplace. The forge was a mini industrial unit, the output of which would have met most of the needs of the castle's occupants, including the horses, from bolts and hinges for doors, sconces for candles and torches, gardening tools to pans for the kitchens and brewhouse. In times of war, armor was repaired and weapons sharpened here, and shot and cannonballs made. So these are the stables, 17th century. right on the cliffs. Travel was a regular occurrence for the Earl Marischal, who owned estates throughout Scotland and was in regular attendance on the king. A large stable block was built to house around 12 of his finest horses. The saddles and other riding equipment were kept in the room nearest the keep, with the feed for the animals in the next room. And this is what it looks like now. Wow, look at this room, or whatever this was. Was this an outdoor living room? That would have been cool. That's what I would like. With that fireplace. Tell me this would not make an amazing outdoor living room next to your house. I'd have this way more landscape, though. This thing would be full of flowers and plants. So this is what it used to look like. So this is that fireplace that I'm looking at right here. I'll show you the rest of it. This building, built in the 16th century by the 4th Earl for his son and daughter-in-law, was in effect a separate private residence. The ground floor consisted of a hall nearest the keep and a parlor or study opening onto the back entryway. A spiral staircase on the north side ends in a square cap house that gave access to the upper floor. And then this is the outside view to that. You can see the tower. You can see the stairs that made their way up there. That's really cool. Very awesome. Past the ye old bathrooms. So these were all lodgings. Different living quarters for the likely for the staff, probably, higher up, more important staff. They all have fireplaces, all pretty separate from each other, pretty private. And then above us was a 35-meter long ballroom. I can imagine if you're trying to sleep at night and there's an event going on. I'm sure they were working, but still, it's pretty awesome. So these holes house the balcony, and then, yes, that's right. So to come out from the ballroom through this door, and then that balcony you would have had this amazing view, which is unbelievable. The Whigs vault. Oh wow, this place just keeps going and going. The Whigs and their vault. After the damage caused in the siege of 1651, the Earl moved to a different castle near Peterhead. Dunnottar became a barracks for part-time soldiers. In 1685, there was a short-lived rebellion supported primarily by those Presbyterians who refused to accept the king's insistence that he be acknowledged as the supreme head of the church. 200 people were marched to Dunnottar, of which 122 men and 45 women survived the journey. They were thrown into the infamous Whigs vault, ankle deep in mire, and held for 6 weeks with no sanitation. Both food and water had to be purchased from the guards. 25 men escaped, 2 of whom fell to their deaths. 15 were captured and tortured. The remaining prisoners were put on a ship to New Jersey. However, about 70 of them died on the voyage. Wow. That is pretty wild. That's some crazy New Jersey history for you. The Thief's Hole is down here. Thief's Hole. This small secure area was used to house those convicted of minor offenses by the courts held in the castle. Those unfortunate enough to be locked up here were usually only held for a few days and would have no doubt thought twice about offending again. The Thief's Hole. It literally is just a hole. And you would have had... That's a toilet.
And there's a hole to the whigs thing.
Oh,
So
wow.
I guess all of their excrement would come.
Yeah, because you know that they were definitely putting their waste down here to get rid of it from up there. Ugh, what a disgusting situation. Oh my God. Anyway, that's the thief's hole. Yeah, so this is a cemetery, or it was. I mean, I guess it still is. 13th century to the 16th century. People were buried here, and there's supposedly... Oh, here it is. There's, I guess, a grave here. One visible grave. Bairn, so I can't really even tell what it says, but I guess there's multiple people buried. They just don't know where they are or what the situation is. Oh, look at this. The chapel. Let me get back so you can see a better angle of it. The chapel, 13th to the 16th century, this was used. Consecrated in 1276 and apparently burned with an English garrison inside by William Wallace in 1297. It was rebuilt, and 2 Gothic windows of this original chapel survive to this day. Later, in the 16th century, the chapel was largely remodeled, but kept the 2 small Gothic windows mentioned above, placing these in the south wall. What is this? Oh, it's a cistern. The cistern provided water supply for the castle's inhabitants, which was brewed into ale in the brewery to make it safe to drink. When excavated last century, it was found to be 7.6 meters deep and holds 497 cubic meters of water. As to the treasures that were found, 4 brass pans, a small French sword, 5 cannonballs, part of a Dutch pot, and 1.5 silver teaspoons emerged from the deep waters. Just think about that stuff that they found down there. Who was the last person to use those spoons or to use that sword? And who threw it in there? You know, that's amazing that stuff sat in there for so long. I don't know, pretty incredible.
Bakery, brewery.
Bakery? Do they have any of those donuts with the custard in them? Cool. Oh, wow. What was this? Oh, I guess it's just a fire.
Oh, a brewery.
Oh, it was a brewery. Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. They said that the water came from the cistern, and then it was brewed, so that it was safe to drink. Oh, this was the oven.
How big it is.
Wow. That's really cool. Just think that there was like one last time the last batch went in there. And they never would have guessed that centuries later, people are touring the castle being like, wow, imagine when the last batch was put in here. This is the outside. This is the bakery, the oven, or whatever you want to call it. Legend has it that William Wallace in 1297 at just 21 used this postern to access Dunnottar Castle with his untrained army, which led to the destruction of the English garrison inside. Other accounts say that this entry point was built for secret access to the castle approximately 400 years after Wallace's death. Recently, it has been adopted as a wishing well, with proceeds going to good causes. Wow, these stairs are steep. This is called the Lion's Den. Ah, okay. So named because the Earl kept a pet lion here, according to legend. Its life was short-lived, as its roaring kept the Countess awake at night. The symbol of the lion was the mascot of the Earl and was visible on his coat and arms and was a demonstration of his immense power and wealth. At first, when I came down here and I saw the sign, I thought maybe this would be part of the Lion's Den, but no, this would have had a roof on it, and it goes way down there. So, I don't know about that. That's pretty small to be a lion's den. Very, very steep steps. The Countess Suite. Yeah, this whole thing was the Countess Suite. Look at the views that she had. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is another kitchen here. And this would have been for waste. They would have just dumped stuff out. The drain. And that is a sink, or what's left of it. 16th century sink. So this goes upstairs. Obviously the dining room. Oh yeah, that's right. It talked about above the kitchen was the dining room. This was a spacious room with large windows on both sides to light the area. The room on your right is a small speak-a-word or private room. Has a small privy and a gun loop, which would have locked out to sea, but it's been covered up by later buildings. Oh, I see, okay. This room is the reception area for the Marechal's suite, which gives access to the Earl's bedroom. The triangular pediment set over the fireplace in the bedroom behind you is dated 1645 and shows the arms and the mottos of the 7th Earl Marischal and his wife Elizabeth Seton. So that completes the tour of the castle, but before I noticed that there's a sea cave. I just wanted to look inside, see what we're dealing with. It's a pretty big cave. Let's see what we got going on here. Wow. Amazing. I'd say it goes back probably, I don't know, 100 something feet in here. I wonder if this was here back in the day. You know, back when kids used to live in that castle, I guarantee you they used to hang out in this cave at low tide. So interesting. All right, I'm getting out of here. Many more videos coming from Scotland. A lot of dead birds in here. It's kind of weird. See you in the next video.